Hello friends, today's topic of discussion is trace element. When the requirement is less than 100 milligram per day, they are known as trace elements. So these are the trace elements: iron, copper, zinc, iodine, fluoride, selenium, manganese, chromium, molybdenum. These are the trace elements. Of these all, you may get a LAQ long answer question on iron, or you may get SAQ short answer question on copper, zinc, iodine or fluoride. And there are some cases, some important cases, for example iron deficiency anemia related with iron, then copper deficiency, that is Menkes disease, or the disease which is related with excess of copper, that is Wilson's disease. Then you may get a case on acrodermatitis enteropathica, which is related with zinc deficiency, then iodine deficiency goiter and fluorosis. These are the important cases related with these trace elements. So we'll discuss these trace elements under the heading of RDA, sources, their functions, their deficiency manifestations and toxicity related with some trace elements. Okay. Now iron, the RDA of iron is 10 milligram per day. It is 10 milligram per day in case of males. In case of females, the RDA is little bit higher, that is 15 milligram per day. 15 to 20 milligram per day, and in pregnancy and lactation the requirement increases and it may increase up to 40 milligram per day in pregnancy and lactation. Pregnancy and lactation, this is for female, this is for male. Okay, the sources, the important sources of iron, it includes mainly the green leafy vegetables, then pulses, cereals, then meat, specifically organ meat, jaggery, then dry fruits and beetroot. These are the important sources of iron. Green leafy vegetable, it is the main source of iron, followed by pulses, cereals, organ meat, jaggery, beetroot and dry fruits. These are the important sources for the iron. Okay. Then what are the important functions of iron in our body? So it is a important constituent in hemoglobin, then myoglobin, then cytochrome, various cytochromes or cytochrome oxidase, then cytochrome P450, then it is important for tryptophan pyrrolase, xanthine oxidase, catalase, then nitric oxide synthase. So these are the important proteins which are related with the iron, and the function of iron, it is related with these proteins. Also iron, it is stored in the form of ferritin, hemosiderin, and the transport form is transferrin. Also it is present in aconitase. So these are the different enzymes and proteins which required iron. Okay, so hemoglobin, myoglobin, various cytochromes, cytochrome P450, tryptophan pyrrolase, xanthine oxidase, aconitase, catalase, nitric oxide synthase, ferritin, hemosiderin and transferrin. These are the different iron containing proteins, or they require iron as a cofactor. Okay, so what are the functions of iron in our body? So hemoglobin, it is required for transport of O2 from lung to the peripheral tissue, and transport of carbon dioxide from peripheral tissue to the lung. It is important component in myoglobin. It is present in the muscle. Cytochromes, it is important in cellular respiration, that is electron transport chain. Cytochrome P450, it is important in the detoxification reactions, biotransformation reactions, that is the detoxification of various compounds in our body. Tryptophan pyrrolase, it is important in tryptophan metabolism. Xanthine oxidase, it is important in degradation of purine and formation of uric acid. Aconitase, it is important in TCA cycle. Catalase, it is important in antioxidant function. Okay, so nitric oxide synthase, it is important for nitric oxide synthesis, which causes the smooth muscle relaxation. Then ferritin, hemosiderin, these are the storage form of the iron, and transferrin, it is a transport form of the iron. So these are the important functions. So this is hemoglobin, myoglobin. Hemoglobin specifically, it is required for transport of O2 and CO2. Cytochrome oxidase, it is important in electron transport chain. Cytochrome P450, it is in the detoxification. This is in the tryptophan metabolism. Xanthine oxidase in the purine degradation. In purine degradation. Aconitase in the TCA cycle. Aconitase in the TCA cycle. Catalase, antioxidant. Nitric oxide synthase in the synthesis of nitric oxide, which acts as a smooth muscle relaxant. Ferritin, hemosiderin, these are the storage form of the iron. Transferrin, it is a transport form of the iron. Okay, so these are the important functions of iron in our body. Now what are the different diseases related with the iron? The deficiency of iron causes iron deficiency anemia. It is mainly due to the decreased intake of the iron and increased demand of the iron. Okay, mainly due to decreased intake and increased demand, specifically in pregnancy and lactation period. The deficiency of iron occurs and it causes iron deficiency anemia. The typical features of the iron deficiency anemia includes pallor, which is seen in lower palpebral conjunctiva. Then apathy, dull and sluggish child, there is decrease in the school performance. Okay, apathy will be there. And anemia, it is mainly microcytic and hypochromic anemia. So the size of red blood cell is small, also it contains less hemoglobin. So microcytic hypochromic anemia. In laboratory finding in iron deficiency anemia is there is decrease in the hemoglobin, there is decrease in the ferritin level, there is decrease in the hemoglobin ferritin level, while increase in the total iron binding capacity, which is around 350 to 400. If it is in more than that, it indicates the iron deficiency anemia. Okay, so if TIBC is more than 400, it indicates the iron deficiency anemia. There is decrease in the hemoglobin, decrease in the ferritin stores, and increase in the total iron binding capacity, and peripheral smear shows microcytic hypochromic anemia, RBCs, microcytic hypochromic RBCs. So this is about the iron deficiency anemia. And if there is increase in the iron content, it causes the hemosiderosis or hemochromatosis. So this is related with the toxicity of the iron. So now we will discuss the another, that is copper. The requirement is 2 to 3 milligram per day. Requirement of zinc is near about 10 milligram per day. Iodine, it is 150 to 200 microgram per day. Fluoride, it is 1 ppm particles per million. So it is fluoride, it is 1 ppm. Selenium, it is near about 50 to 200 microgram per day. And manganese, it is 5 to 6 milligram per day. So these are the RDAs. iron 10 milligram, copper 2 to 3 milligram, zinc around 10 milligram per day, iodine 150 to 200 microgram, and selenium 50 to 200 microgram. The requirement is near about same, iodine and selenium. Fluoride, it is present in water, so it is, the unit is ppm, particle per million. So it should be around 1 to 2 ppm, should be less than 2 ppm. And manganese, it is 5 to 6 milligram per day. So these are the RDA of these minerals. Now the important sources. Copper, it is mainly present in organ meats. It is present in organ meat. It is present in shellfish. Okay, so these are the important sources of copper. Also, it is present in food prepared in the copper vessel. So that is all. That will also contain copper. Then zinc, the important sources are shellfish, meat, egg, then beans, nuts. These are the important sources for the zinc. Okay, iodine, the important source is table salt and seafoods. Okay, fluoride, it is drinking water. Selenium, the important sources are mainly the meat, fish, legumes. These are the important sources for the selenium. And manganese, it is present in meat, fish, eggs, etc. So these are the important sources of these minerals. Specifically fluoride, it is present in drinking water. Iodine, it is present in fortified salt. Also it is present in the seafoods. Okay, so rest of the sources are near about same. Only the iron, the main important source is green leafy vegetable. The important source for iron is green leafy vegetable, then jaggery, beetroot, and dry fruits. These are the important sources. Apart from this, okay, copper, important source is organ meat, shellfish. Iodine, important source is table salt. Fluoride, it is drinking water. Selenium and manganese, mainly the food of animal origin. Also it is present in the vegetables. Okay, so these are the important sources of these minerals. Now coming to the function, we already discussed the function of the iron. Now we'll discuss the functions of the other elements. So copper, it is mainly present in ceruloplasmin. Copper, it is present in ceruloplasmin. It is present in catalase. It is present in cytochrome oxidase. Okay, then it is important cofactor for ALA synthase, superoxide dismutase, cytosolic superoxide dismutase, tyrosinase, and lysyl oxidase. These are the important enzymes that requires copper as a cofactor. Okay, so ceruloplasmin, it is important for the incorporation of iron into transferrin. It is required for incorporation of iron into transferrin. Catalase, it is required for the it is an antioxidant. Cytochrome oxidase, it is required for the cellular respiration. ALA synthase, it is important in the heme synthesis, the first step of heme synthesis, ALA synthase. Superoxide dismutase, it is again antioxidant. Tyrosinase, it is an important enzyme in the melanin synthesis. Okay, it is important enzyme in the melanin synthesis. Lysyl oxidase, it is important in collagen, in the formation of collagen cross-links. It is important in the formation of collagen cross-links. So these are the important enzymes which requires copper as a cofactor. Now what are the deficiency manifestations related with the copper? So if there is deficiency of copper, so it causes anemia, It causes anemia because it is required for the uh, incorporation of iron into a transferrin, and also it is required for the ALA synthase reaction, which is required for the heme synthesis. So it causes the anemia. Second important, it causes the serious abnormalities. It causes serious abnormalities, or it causes because it is involved in the vessel wall formation. The lysyl oxidase specifically, it is involved in the vessel wall formation. It is required for the collagen cross links formation. So serious abnormality will be there in the deficiency of copper. And two diseases, they are related with the copper. The first one is the Menkes disease, and another one is the Wilson's disease. Wilson's disease. In Menkes disease, there is defective absorption of the copper from the intestine. That's why there is deficiency of the copper. While in Wilson's disease, there is defect in transport of copper from liver to bile and its incorporation into ceruloplasmin. Okay, so here Menkes disease, there is defect in the absorption of copper from intestine, while in Wilson's disease there is defect in the transport from liver to bile. There is defect in the transport from liver to bile. So it is due to the mutation. This Menkes disease, it is due to mutation in ATP7A. Okay. It is due to mutation in ATP7A, which involved in the intestinal absorption of the copper. While Wilson's disease, it is due to ATP7B mutation. These are the MCQs. This is required for transport of copper from liver to bile. Okay. Menkes disease typically causes the kinky hair or brittle hair, easily pluckable hair, because of deficiency of the copper. It affects the lysyl oxidase, it affects the synthesis of collagen. Then there is hypopigmentation and mental retardation. So these are the features of the Menkes disease. It is a X-linked disorder, typically affect the males. Kinky hair, hypopigmentation and mental retardation. Wilson disease, it is an important case. Wilson's disease, it is failure to transport copper from liver to bile due to mutation in ATP7B. There is deposition of copper in the liver and lenticular nucleus of the brain. Hepatolenticular degeneration is there, liver and brain. And also it is in the decimate membrane of the cornea that causes the ring formation, the yellow brown ring formation, that is known as Kaiser-Fleischer ring around the cornea, in the decimate membrane of the cornea. The typical golden brown ring around the cornea, it is known as KF ring, Kaiser-Fleischer ring. This is the manifestation of Wilson's disease. So you may get a case on Wilson's disease. Okay, there is increase in the copper level in the Wilson's disease, copper deposition into the liver and brain, lenticular nucleus of the brain. That's why it is known as hepatolenticular degeneration, Wilson's disease. So this is about the copper. Now coming to a discussion of zinc. It is required for more than 300 enzymes, near about 300 enzymes zinc is required. The important one includes in the zinc, it is superoxide dismutase, then carbonic anhydrase, then RNA polymerase, alkaline phosphatase, alcohol dehydrogenase, lactate dehydrogenase. These are the important enzymes which required zinc as a cofactor, or in some enzymes zinc is an integral part. So carbonic anhydrase is an important zinc containing enzyme. So because of the superoxide dismutase, it has antioxidant activity. RNA polymerase, it is required for the protein synthesis. Then it has antioxidant functions, and it is important in the spermatogenesis, zinc. So deficiency of zinc will causes the disease that is known as acrodermatitis enteropathica. If there is deficiency of zinc, it causes acrodermatitis enteropathica. This is characterized by the skin rash. It is characterized by the skin rash in the acral parts of the body, particularly finger, nose, mouth, toes. Okay, particularly involving the finger, nose, mouth, and toes, particularly in the infants. It causes acrodermatitis enteropathica, that is skin rash due to deficiency of zinc. Also, if there is deficiency of zinc, it causes alopecia, defect in wound healing or delayed wound healing, delayed wound healing, then impaired spermatogenesis. So these are the symptoms of zinc deficiency. Okay, now iodine. Iodine, it is particularly required for the synthesis of T3 and T4. And all the manifestations of iodine deficiency, they are due to decreased synthesis of this thyroid hormone, means hypothyroidism. There is enlargement of thyroid gland in search of iodine. So there is gland enlargement. So it will manifest as iodine deficiency goiter. Okay, there is swelling in the front region of neck due to increase in the size of thyroid gland for trapping of the iodine. So iodine is required for the T3 and T4 formation, and T3 and T4, it has number of functions in our body. For example, it is required for the basal metabolic rate, then it increases the protein synthesis, increases the glucose formation, increases the utilization of the lipids. It is also important in water and electrolyte balance. So there are number of symptoms in the iodine deficiency. So iodine deficiency goiter, endemic goiter or iodine deficiency goiter, there is gland enlargement, gland enlargement. Okay, in search of iodine, there is increase in the thyroid gland because stimulus is there from the thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, so gland enlargement is there. Then cold intolerance, cold intolerance, feeling of cold than the usual. Okay, so cold intolerance will be there. Weight gain will be there. Weight gain, edema, cold intolerance, gland enlargement, dullness, sluggish activity, irregular menstrual cycle. These are the symptoms of hypothyroidism. These are the symptoms of hypothyroidism. This is known as endemic goiter. If there is a deficiency, severe deficiency in pregnancy, it causes mental retardation. It causes cretinism. Okay, it causes stunted growth and mental retardation in the children. That is known as cretinism. Okay, so iodine deficiency goiter, it is important case. Okay, then fluoride, the particular, it is required as 1 ppm. It should be less than 1 ppm. If the prolonged deficiency of fluoride occurs, if it is less than 0.5 ppm for prolonged duration, it causes dental caries. It causes dental caries. Okay, so fluoride is typically required for the formation of fluoroapatite. It is along with the hydroxyapatite, it forms the layer, acid resistant layer in the enamels. It causes acid resistant layer formation. So bacterial enzymes will not causes the decay in the tooth if the fluoride level is sufficient. If there is prolonged deficiency of fluoride less than 0.5 ppm over a prolonged period, it causes dental caries. Okay, because of bacterial action, there is formation of tiny holes, that is known as dental caries. But this problem is less severe than this problem, that is known as toxicity. If it is more than 2 ppm for prolonged duration, that is up to 5 ppm, it causes GIT symptoms, gastrointestinal disturbances. If it is more than 5 ppm, it causes dental fluorosis. Dental fluorosis, that is mottling of enamels and discoloration of teeth. Mottling of enamels and discoloration of teeth, dental fluorosis, if it is more than 5 ppm. If it is more than 20 ppm, it causes skeletal changes. It causes skeletal changes, that is known as skeletal fluorosis. And it is characterized by genu valgum deformity. Okay, knock knee formation, genu valgum deformity, that is knock knee formation if there is more than 20 ppm, skeletal fluorosis. So dental caries if it is less than 0.5 ppm, and if it is more than 5 ppm, dental fluorosis, more than 20 ppm, skeletal fluorosis. Okay, now the selenium, you may get BAQ on the selenium, that is 2-mark question for functions of the selenium, or you may get MCQ on the selenium. So it is important component in the selenocysteine, that is 21st amino acid, selenocysteine, and also it is important in the 3 enzyme, important for the 3 enzymes, that is glutathione, peroxidase, which has important antioxidant function, then deiodinase, it is required for conversion of T4 thyroxine into T3, and thioredoxin reductase. Thioredoxin reductase. So these are the important selenium containing enzymes, or which require selenium as a cofactor. Also it is important, it is present in selenocysteine, that is 21st amino acid. Manganese, it is particularly required for the kinases. It is required for the kinases. Also it is required for the pyruvate carboxylase, arginase, okay, enolase. So these are the important enzymes which require manganese. It is important in the bone formation. Okay, it is manganese, it is important for the bone formation. Also it is required for the activity of RNA polymerase. So these are the functions of the manganese. Okay, so this is all about the in general discussion. Now some MCQs are there, that is molybdenum, it is required for the xanthine oxidase. Molybdenum, it is required for xanthine oxidase. Xanthine oxidase, it is required in the purine degradation, okay, and uric acid formation, molybdenum. Then chromium, it is it increases, it potentiates the action of insulin. Okay, so it is also known as glucose tolerance factor. Chromium, it potentiates the action of insulin, also known as glucose tolerance factor. Then cobalt, it is a important component in the B12. It is important component in the vitamin B12. Cobalt in the B12. Chromium, it is potentiates the action of insulin. Okay, molybdenum, it is important component in the xanthine oxidase. Zinc also, it is required for secretion and release. It is mainly required for the secretion and storage of insulin. Zinc, secretion and storage of insulin. Okay, so these are the some important points related with the trace element. So keep watching. Thank you.